Real-world equations. I'm going to show you some examples of how to write and solve equations from situations. There are 4 types of equations. The first one is an addition equation. You will use this equation when there's a situation where there is a part plus a part equal to a whole. The actions in these equations will be like combining, increasing, putting together. This equation will look like a variable plus a part equals a whole. A subtraction equation is where there is a whole minus a part equal to another part. The actions in these types of equations will be a comparison or difference, takeaway, or decreasing. That skeleton equation will look like a variable minus a number equals another number. In a multiplication equation, you will see equal groups of. Remember, of is one of our keywords meaning multiplication. The actions in these types of equations will look like repeated equal groups. And this equation will look like a number times a variable equals another number. In a division equation, the actions will look like separating or splitting into equal groups. This equation will look like a variable such as x divided by a number equal to another number. When we're writing and solving real-world equations, there are 5 steps. Our first step is to determine the action or actions that are happening in the problem, and then think about which skeleton equation would you use. Step 2, identify what the question is asking and assign a variable to the unknown. Step 3, translate the action or actions into a math equation. Be sure to include a variable that is not isolated. Step 4, solve the equation showing all algebraic steps. And finally, answer the question in a complete sentence. Let's look at an example together. Penny read 19 books, which is 5 more books than Charlie read. Write and solve an equation to find the amount of books that Charlie read. So you should think, what actions or keywords are in this problem? 5 more books indicates an addition equation should be used. We're going to let C equal the amount of books that Charlie read. We're going to think, Charlie plus 5 more books is equal to 19 books. So when we write that equation, it will look like C plus 5 equals 19. Now, in order to solve this equation, we must isolate the variable C. We can do this by using inverse operations, subtract 5 from both sides of our equation, and we get C equals 14. Don't forget to write the sentence, Charlie read 14 books. Let's look at another example. Example 2. A pizza was cut into equal slices. Ben ate 4 of the slices. The amount that Ben ate was 2/3 of the whole pizza. Write and solve an equation to find the total number of slices that were in the whole pizza. Think, what actions or key words are in the problem? 2/3 of indicates a multiplication equation should be used. So our variable will be, let's let P equal the number of slices in the whole pizza. Then we're going to think, 2/3 of the whole pizza is equal to 4 slices. So 2/3 P equals 4. Now we have to solve this equation by isolating the variable and using inverse operations. So we can multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 2/3, 3/2, or we could also divide both sides by 2/3. We get P equals 6. So there are 6 slices in the whole pizza. Example 3. Daquan completed 6 math problems. He still has 7 left. Write and solve an equation to find the total number of math problems Daquan needs to complete in total. So we're going to think, what actions or keywords are in the problem? Knowing the 2 parts, completed and not yet completed problems, and trying to find the whole indicates a subtraction equation. So we will let variable x equal the total number of math problems. Then we'll think the total amount of problems take away 6 problems already completed is equal to 7 problems left. So our equation will look like x minus 6 equals 7. Now in order to isolate the variable, we will use inverse operations and add 6 to both sides of our equation. Then we get x equals 13. So Daquan needs to complete 13 total math problems. Example 4. The SLMS auditorium has 35 rows of seats. Each row has 30 seats in it. Write and solve an equation to find the total amount of seats in the auditorium. We're going to think, what actions or keywords are in the problem? Splitting seats into equal rows indicates a division equation. We'll let x equal the total number of seats in the auditorium. Then we'll think, the total amount of seats split into 35 rows is 30 seats in each row. So our equation looks like x divided by 35 equals 30. In order to isolate our variable, we will use inverse operations. So we'll multiply both sides of our equation by 35. And we get x equals 1050. So the SLMS auditorium has 1050 seats. Next up for you is to log into Schoology and complete the check-in. Remember to come back to this video and re-watch any examples to help you complete the check-in.